Huh? Yesterday we have seen about databases, the types of databases and popular database implementations available. Oracle, Informix, then IBM DB2, hmm, MySQL, NoSQL, uh, many database engines. Okay, now we shall go on to third rule. Third rule. There are some rules based on which a database implementation can be called RDBMS. If you wish to call your database an RDBMS, the database must comply with 13 rules proposed by Edgar Card, whereas he has named them from rule 0 to rule 12. 13 rules numbered from 0 to 12. Okay. What are the rules? Rule 0 is called foundation rule. Rule 0 is called foundation rule. Foundation. What is the foundation? For any building, it's the base. It is the base on which the building stands. Foundation. The foundation on which RDBMS stands is called the foundation. Okay. It says relational database system must be able to manage data entirely through relationship rules, relational rules. It means you should not use any other rules, any other ideas. You have to comply with the database rules, RDBMS rules proposed hereafter. You should not use anything else. Okay. Follow or don't follow. When somebody converts to another religion, they will say that you will not worship any god other than the religion to which you convert. That is the first condition they impose upon the person who converts to another religion. You may not have known it. Similar to that, when you use RDBMS, when you use RDBMS, you have to ensure that all the rules of RDBMS proposed by Edgar Card are complied with and no other rules are permitted. No other rules are permitted. Intermixing of rules is not permitted. Okay. Rule 1 is information rule. Rule 1 is information rule. It says data in a database should be held only in table. How should you organize your data? It is only in the form of tables. No other permission is granted. You should not organize the data in the form of files or in the form of directories. Nothing is permitted. All data must be organized in the form of tables. Okay, information rule. Information rule says that you should use only table. Information rule says you should use only tables, nothing else. Okay, for data storage, table is the only option given by RDBMS, Edgar Card. Then second rule, guaranteed access rule. Okay, I believe that table is the only means for organizing data. Then I send some record, insert into contacts, values. I say some person's contact details. Okay, then guaranteed access rule. After inserting the data, the database engine should be able to give the data back. When I need it, the data should be available, should be made available to me because it is my data. You should not say the data is inaccessible. You should not say any reason. That is the second rule. Guaranteed access rule. Each and every datum should be accessible through a combination of table key and column. Whatever data you place in a table should be accessible. Okay, you should not place the data in a table so that you may not retrieve it back again. You should not use such tables. All tables should ensure that every datum is a singular for data. Data is plural, datum is singular. Every datum is accessible. Every piece of information. Your contacts in your mobile phone, your contacts are organized in the form of tables, contact table. In any Android mobile phone, you have all your data organized in the form of contact table, similar to the contact table we created in MySQL, whereas it's implemented in SQLite. Okay, then in case your phone says that this contact cannot be accessed by you, what will happen? You will become angry. I have saved this contact, whereas the phone is not offering me the data back. It's not correct. That is what this rule says. When a person saves data, it should be accessible to the person again. Okay. Then null value rule. You may not have information for certain columns. When you have data for certain columns and you don't know the data for certain other column, you may use null as the value. Null is similar to 0 in mathematics. When you say 0, there is nothing, no value. 0 is considered no value. Similar to that, null, in sense, null is the default value for non-availability of data. Here also, null value rule says that when you don't know the information pertaining to particular column, you may say null. You may say null. Null value rule. Absence of data should be represented through null value irrespective of data type. For any data type, you should be permitted to use what? Null value. You should be permitted to use null value. It's we have designed the context table. Do you remember? Create table contacts. ID was one column, name was another column, mobile one, mobile two, email. Suppose I don't know the email ID for a person. I don't know the email ID for a person. What should I do? I can simply say null for email ID. I can simply say insert into contacts values 0 comma somebody's name x comma triple nine triple nine triple nine something and then comma triple nine triple nine double nine something. Okay, then comma null. I don't know email ID. When you don't know the data, when you don't have the data, you may say null against that item. Null value rule. Okay. Then we have seen 3 rules. What are the 3 rules right now? 4 rules numbered from 0 to 3. First is the foundation rule. Foundation rule says you should use only the Edgar Card's rules for working with RDBMS. You should not use any other rules for accessing RDBMS. That is the first rule. The second rule or the rule 1 says information rule, tables. Information rule says you should use only tables. The second rule says guaranteed access rule. It says whenever you place data, it should be available back. Okay, your father comes home. He gives you 100 rupees, keep it safe. When he calls you back and asks for the money, what will you say, Princey? You should be ready to offer it back. Okay, you should not meddle with that money. That is what RDBMS also says. When somebody places the data should be accessible again. Okay, that is the rule, second rule. Then null value rule. When you don't have any data, we should be permitted to use null value against the non-available data column. Then active online catalog rule. What is a catalog first? Catalog. You go to a hotel, they offer you a menu card, a catalog. A catalog in a hotel is called a menu card. And you go to a shop, they may display you the list of items available in the shop and the rates. Maybe so, maybe not so. Nowadays, they don't follow this rule. In the earlier times, whatever items they have and the rates for the item could be displayed on the shop front. Okay, we call them catalogs. Similar to that, when you have a table, the column structure, describe contacts. When you call describe contacts, it would say ID, begin, primary key, not null. Then name, varchar 30, not null. All those things are called catalogs. All those things are called catalogs. You should be able to describe the table or get the table information relating to each column through a catalog, active online catalog rule. Table schema should also be stored in table and should be accessible through SQL. Table schema means structure. Table schema means structure. That is name, data type, and any constraint. Primary key, auto increment, all those things are related to schema. Table schema. Okay, table structure. Table schema should be stored in another table relating to the table, and it should be accessible through SQL. You call describe contacts. It should be able to furnish you the data. Okay. This is active online catalog group. You should be able to know the structure of the table through some SQL command. Okay, active online catalog group. Okay, can you repeat this? Active online catalog rule. Again, active online catalog rule. Once more, active online catalog rule. Okay. It means you should be able to get the structure, table structure. Table structure is here called schema. Schema is the formal name for table structure. Okay. Schema should be accessible through SQL. Then comprehensive data sublanguage rule. Comprehensive data sublanguage rule. Once more, comprehensive data sublanguage. It means I impose some rule stating that during theory classes we should use only English as the medium of instruction and medium of interaction. We may impose such a rule. Okay. Similar to that, Edgar Card imposes a rule stating that you should use only SQL as the language for accessing data. SQL is the only language. SQL must be the only language for accessing data. No other language should be used. No other language is permitted. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Can you repeat? Structured Query Language. Once more, Structured Query Language. Okay. Then database should be accessed through only through data sublanguage. Data sublanguage. Okay, SQL. No other mode of access is permitted. Other than SQL, no other language can be used for accessing data. Okay. Comprehensive data sublanguage rule. Comprehensive data sublanguage rule. Okay. Done. Then sixth rule stays. Shall we stop here? We are at the middle. We may start with this rule 6. Okay. View updating rule. View updating rule. View all views theoretically updatable should be updatable by the system. What does it mean? I enter some data, somebody's contact number. I have entered a person's contact number. Whereas the number has changed. Can I modify the earlier mobile number with a new number? I should be able to. That is what this rule says. View updating rule. Whenever a column can be updated by a person, it should be permissible. Whenever a column is permitted to be updated, you should be able to update it through which command? Update is the command for updating columns. You have used it in MySQL. Update. Do you remember update command? Update table name, contacts, set some column name to something, and then you have to provide a bare condition at which place. Do you remember all those queries? Book query. You have used queries for contact, book during the revision period, during the revision test. Contacts was the practical we used. Contacts is the table used for practical. Whereas we have used book, authors, and other similar things for revision test, merit revision. During merit revision, we have used books, authors, and other tables, and we have created some relations and other things. Yes. Okay, done. What are the 6 rules we have covered till now? First one is the foundation rule. Foundation rule says you should only use RDBMS rules provided herein. No other rules are permitted. The second rule is information rule. Table is the only means for storing data, nothing else. Okay. The third one is guaranteed access rule. Any data should be accessible. When you place the data, you should be able to get it back. Then null value rule. When you don't have any data, what is the permitted value in the unknown field? Null is the only value permitted in unknown field. Then active online catalog rule. Table schema should be accessible. Table schema should be accessible. Schema is the formal name for table structure. Then comprehensive data sublanguage rule. SQL is the only language used for accessing data. SQL is the only language permitted for RDBMS, nothing else. Then view updating rule. Any data should be updatable. You should be able to use update and update the data wherever permissible. Okay. Then can you repeat the rule names alone? Foundation rule, information rule, guaranteed access rule, null value rule, active online catalog rule, comprehensive data sublanguage rule, view updating rule. Can you repeat? Foundation rule, information rule, guaranteed access rule, null value rule, active online catalog rule, comprehensive data sublanguage rule, view updating rule. Once more. Foundation rule, information rule, guaranteed access rule, null value rule, active online catalog rule, comprehensive data sublanguage rule, view updating. With this, we have covered 7 rules numbered from 0 to 6. We shall take up the remaining rules tomorrow. You have to remember these rules. They may ask you in 2 mark questions, MCQ. Have to remember the names and the purposes of these. Done.